of everything we have studied together in this class. Okay, so let us go back to May 2024. It is May 2024. Joe Biden is still the president of the United States. Donald Trump is facing 91 criminal charges. Most people in the media are saying Trump cannot win. Most people are saying there will be no war with Iran. The world looks relatively stable. And in this classroom, I made 3 predictions. Prediction number 1, Donald Trump will win the presidential election in November 2024. Prediction number 2, the United States will go to war with Iran. Prediction number 3, the United States will lose this war, and this loss will forever change the global order. Now, 2 of these predictions have already come true. Trump won. America went to war with Iran, and the whole world is now watching to see if the 3rd prediction comes true as well. But here is what I want you to understand today. I did not make those predictions because I am special. I did not make those predictions because I have some magical ability to see the future. I made those predictions because I used a method, a framework. And that framework is what I call predictive history, using game theory and structural patterns from history to understand where things are going. And today, I want to use that same framework to make my most important prediction yet. I want to tell you exactly how this war ends, okay? So let me first explain the method, and then I will walk you through the prediction step by step, because I never want you to just accept what I say. I want you to see the reasoning. I want you to test it yourself. That is what this class is about. So how do I make predictions? I look at 3 things. First, I look at structure. What are the deep structural forces shaping a situation? Things like geography, population, economic systems. These things do not change quickly. They constrain what is possible. Second, I look at incentives. In game theory, every player in the game is trying to maximize their own interest. So I ask, what does each player actually want? Not what they say they want, what they actually want, because those 2 things are often very different. Third, I look at history, not because history repeats exactly. It does not, but because human beings are human beings, empires are empires, and certain patterns appear again and again across thousands of years. If you know those patterns, you can see them playing out in real time. Now, let me apply this to the question of how this war ends. And I want to do this carefully, step by step, because the answer is not simple, but it is logical. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. First, let us understand what each player actually wants. Because as I said, what people say they want and what they actually want are different things. What does America say it wants? It says it wants to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It says it wants to bring democracy to Iran. It says it wants peace and stability in the Middle East. Okay, now what does America actually want? America wants to maintain control over the global oil supply, because the global oil supply is the foundation of the petrodollar system. And the petrodollar system is the foundation of American financial power. Remember what we have discussed before. Since 1973, all oil in the world has been traded in US dollars. This creates permanent global demand for the dollar. It is what allows America to print money and run huge deficits without its economy collapsing. Without the petrodollar, America cannot afford its military. Without its military, it cannot maintain its empire. So the real goal of this war is simple. Control the Middle East, control the oil, keep the petrodollar alive. Now, what does Iran want? Iran wants to survive. That is the most basic thing. Iran has been under American sanctions for decades. America has been trying to regime change Iran since 1979. Iran has watched what happened to Iraq when America invaded. It watched Libya get destroyed. It watched Syria get destabilized. Iran knows that if it does not fight back, it will be destroyed. So Iran's first and most fundamental goal is survival. But Iran also wants something more. Iran wants to be recognized as a legitimate regional power. It wants to end the sanctions permanently. It wants to control the Strait of Hormuz, not just now during the war, but permanently as a tool of economic leverage. And it wants its allies, Yemen, Hezbollah, Iraq, to be protected as part of any settlement. Now, what does Israel want? Israel wants to replace America as the dominant power in the Middle East. I have explained this before, and I will be brief today. Israel is auditioning to be the new empire. It is showing the global elite, the finance class, the asset managers, the people who actually run the global system, that it is willing to fight, that it has the unity, the determination, the strategic intelligence to be the muscle of the global system when America is no longer able to do the job. And what do the Gulf states want? Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, they want to survive too, but they are weak. They cannot fight on their own. And right now, they are trapped between two powers that are much stronger than them. Their strategy is to stay as close to whoever wins as possible, and they will flip very quickly to the winning side when they see which way things are going. Okay, now I have the players and their real interests. Let us look at the structural realities, because interests alone do not determine outcomes. Structure does. So here are the key structural facts of this war, and I want to go through these carefully because they are the foundation of my prediction. Structural fact number one, America is winning the air war but cannot win the ground war. Let me explain this. In an air war, America is dominant. America has the most advanced fighter jets, the most advanced bombers, the most advanced targeting systems. And in the opening phase of this war, America did serious damage to Iran. It struck nuclear facilities. It targeted leadership. It tried to destroy missile and drone factories. But here is the problem. You cannot win a war from the air alone. This is not just my opinion. This is one of the most well-established facts in all of military history. No country in modern history has ever been regime changed purely from the air. You can bomb a country endlessly, and it will not surrender if the population is determined and the leadership is resilient. The Americans bombed North Vietnam for years. Vietnam did not surrender. The British bombed Germany for years in World War II. Germany did not surrender from the air. It surrendered when Soviet and American ground troops were physically inside its territory. So if America wants to achieve its goal of regime change in Iran, it eventually has to send ground troops. There is no other option. But a ground invasion of Iran is, as I have said many times, potentially catastrophic. Iran is 4 times the size of Iraq. It has a population of 90 million people. It is mountainous. And Iran has been preparing for a ground invasion for 25 years. Not 25 days, not 25 months, 25 years. Underground bases in mountain ranges, decentralized drone factories, weapon systems specifically designed to destroy helicopters, armored vehicles, and infantry. This is not something America can simply bomb its way through. Structural fact number 2, the cost exchange is unsustainable for America. We have discussed this before, but let me make it very simple. Iran fires a drone that costs $50,000. America fires a missile to shoot it down that costs $3 to $10 million. For every Iranian drone, America spends 60 to 200 times more money trying to stop it. Iran fires these drones in swarms, hundreds at a time. America is running through its interceptor stockpiles at a terrifying rate. In fact, we already know that America is racing to accomplish its military objectives before it runs out of interceptors. Let me say that again. The most powerful military in human history is in a race against the clock before it runs out of weapons. That is where we are. And America's military-industrial complex, which is the most corrupt institution in the world, as I have argued many times, cannot quickly replace these stockpiles. The F-35 took 26 years to develop. Interceptor missiles take years to produce. Iran's drone factories, on the other hand, are dispersed across the country, hidden in basements and warehouses, and can be rebuilt quickly even after strikes. This is an asymmetry. The Strait of Hormuz carries 20% of the world's oil supply. Iran is effectively controlling it right now. This is not just a military issue. This is an economic weapon pointed directly at the global economy. And now Yemen has entered the war and is threatening the Red Sea, which carries another 12 to 15% of global trade. Think about what happens when both of these choke points are disrupted at the same time. Oil goes to $150 to $200 a barrel. Fertilizer becomes scarce. Food prices rise globally, and a global recession begins. This creates political pressure inside America that no president can resist, because ordinary Americans are already asking, why are we fighting this war? Why are gas prices going up? Why is my grocery bill going up? And the answer is this war. Structural fact number 4, American political will is fragile and declining. Only about 40% of Americans support this war right now. That number will go down, not up, as casualties increase and economic pain grows. America is not a nation that accepts casualties. We saw this in Vietnam. We saw this in Iraq. We saw this in Afghanistan. Every time America gets into a long, expensive, painful war with no clear victory in sight, the political will collapses. And with it, the ability to fund and sustain the war collapses too. Iran knows this. Iran has studied American psychology very carefully. For 20 years, Iran has been analyzing American political behavior. It knows that the American public has a pain threshold, and Iran's entire strategy is built around pushing America past that threshold. Let me explain both scenarios. Scenario one, America does not send ground troops. It keeps this an air war. In this scenario, America continues bombing Iran from the air. Iran continues firing drones and missiles. The war goes on for months, possibly years. America depletes its interceptor stockpiles. The cost keeps rising. The political pressure at home keeps building. Oil prices stay elevated. The global economy suffers. And eventually, and this is the key word, eventually America looks for an exit, a face-saving way out. Trump goes on television and says something like, "We have achieved our objectives. We have significantly degraded Iran's military capabilities. We are declaring victory and bringing our forces home." Now, let me tell you, scenario 2E becomes unbearable because they are being pounded by Iranian drones and missiles, and they are screaming at America to finish this once and for all. The pressure from Israel is enormous, and Trump, who does not have a clear strategy and who is increasingly desperate, decides to roll the dice and send in the Marines. Prediction one, there will be no ground invasion of Iran. I know many people are saying ground troops are coming. I know the Marines are heading to the region, but I do not believe a full ground invasion of Iran will happen, and here is why. The people around Trump, the smart ones, the ones who actually understand the military situation, they know what a ground invasion of Iran means. They know it means a draft. They know it means years of war. They know it means the end of Trump's political career and possibly American financial stability. The pressure against a ground invasion inside the American government is enormous. Prediction two, this war ends with America withdrawing from the Middle East within 12 to 24 months. Here is how it happens. The economic pressure builds. Oil prices stay high. The American stock market suffers. The political opposition to the war inside America grows. Trump's approval ratings drop, and at some point, China, Russia, and India, the three great powers that are not directly in this war, will make it very clear to Trump that the world cannot sustain this disruption. They will tell him privately, firmly, that it is time to stop. And Trump, who cares deeply about the economy and about his legacy, will find a way to declare victory and leave. Prediction three, after America leaves, the Middle East will be reorganized around two regional powers, Iran and Israel. This is the most important long-term prediction. When America withdraws from the Middle East, the vacuum does not stay empty. Two powers will fill it. Iran on one side, controlling the Strait of Hormuz and the eastern part of the Middle East, with Russia and China as its economic partners. Israel on the other side, with its technological superiority, its intelligence capabilities, its deep connections to global finance, controlling the western part of the Middle East and the India-Middle East-Europe trade corridor. Question one, will nuclear weapons be used? I am 100% confident that nuclear weapons will not be used in this war. I want to be very clear about this. Nukes are the ultimate taboo in international politics. America used them at the end of World War II on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and since then, no country has used nuclear weapons in warfare, not once in nearly 80 years. This taboo is one of the most powerful norms in human civilization. Question two, will Trump negotiate a deal with Iran directly? No. And here is why. Iran will not negotiate with America directly right now. Not because Iran is being stubborn, but because Iran has a very logical reason not to. Every time Iran has negotiated with America in the past, America has broken the agreement. The nuclear deal, the JCPOA, America signed it, and then Trump tore it up. America has shown again and again that it cannot be trusted to honor agreements with Iran. Question three, how long will this take? This is the hardest question. Empires move slowly. America has enormous resources. It can drag this on for years if it chooses to, but the economic pressure is real and it is building every day. My best estimate is that within 12 to 24 months, America will be looking seriously for an exit. And within 2 to 3 years, the broad outlines of the new Middle Eastern order will be clear. But here is the honest truth. I cannot give you an exact date. Nobody can. What I can tell you is the direction. And the direction is this: America's leaving the Middle East. Iran is rising. The petrodollar is dying. And the world is becoming multipolar faster than anyone in Washington is willing to admit. Okay, so that is my analysis for today. That is my prediction. Remember, this is not prophecy. This is not prophecy. It is not fortune telling. It is the disciplined application of game theory, structural analysis, and historical pattern recognition. And like any serious analytical framework,